Broads Media.
Talk about a doozy in South Philadelphia last night. Up 9, Doc. Up 9, fellas, with 34 seconds to go. What in the world? Leave it to the Sixers to find a way to play good ball for a long period of time. DeAnthony Melton was ridiculous. His defense was absurd, and he made some game-changing defensive plays late. Like to save the game if you kind of go back and run the tape. The 7 steals. His offensive production was nuts. Leave it to the Sixers to find a way to ruin what would have felt like a good win as you look towards their schedule here and look towards what they have coming up. A lot of home games, maybe getting back on track, getting guys healthy, although every time somebody comes back from an injury, it seems like somebody's missing. Daniel House Jr. is hurt. George Niang isn't available. But the crucial part is the James Hardens of the world returns, and it's like, okay. But it's crazy. It's crazy what this team puts us through. I hate to say this, but I honestly feel like when I dissect this puppy, it feels more like the Lakers lost this game because of the missed free throw opportunities at the end than it was the Sixers were able to do some damage. And I know that sounds crazy because they were in control. They were doing their thing. They had a nice lead. At times it got ugly. Joel Embiid with the 20-point first quarter. Absurd. Then he goes to the bench, and Anthony Davis is picking up fouls. There's a reason why Anthony Davis is afraid to play Joel Embiid on the defensive side. You see the type of power he has, and then your ass has to get sent to the bench. And when he picked up his third, I'm laughing. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing? But whatever. Embiid gets his 20, but when Embiid goes to the bench, everything falls apart. And I know James Harden's stat line says, nice day at the office. There's some things that really irritate me with him. Just in regards to taking control, damn it. At the end of the game, how sloppy it was terrible. Get the damn ball, inbound it, and don't turn it over. Turnovers everywhere, underneath the basket, trying to inbound the ball. It's nuts. What the hell are you doing? Did they already wrap it up and think they had the W? Here comes the Lakers. Matisse Thybulle. He actually had some decent sequences where he's by the basket and he's putting it up. He's scoring points. Yet Matisse Thybulle, you fool, with the foul at the end. This isn't the first time we're bringing this up. If a defensive specialist is going to be part of your craft, which it is, because realistically that's the only side to his game that, in theory, is consistent enough to give him some life in this league. Remember what happened when Ben Simmons and the Atlanta Hawks and all that nonsense? There was more to it. Matisse Thybulle, why haven't you learned? It's okay to make a mistake. We all make mistakes. But with Matisse, that's something that has already been a problem in the past with you, and yet you somehow do it again. It is completely unacceptable. This team right now, they're not fun. They suck the joy out of hoops for me. And I'm not telling you they're going to stink forever. I'm not telling you they're never going to figure this out because there's a lot of talent on this roster. I believe DeAnthony Melton gives them a player that they haven't had in years past, which is a huge addition. The kid can ball. There's a reason why the Memphis Grizzlies were a bit upset when he was no longer on their team, and you're seeing why. He has some ups and downs to this point. Like sometimes it has been a little rough, but when he's locked in and loaded, he's a scary weapon. Tyrese getting back. There's a lot of talent there. Can they put it together is the question. And, of course, that means the focus shifts to Doc Rivers. I'm not a Doc Rivers hater. I'm not a Doc Rivers lover. You want to get rid of Doc Rivers? Fine. I mean, you look at the Phillies and the Joe Girardi thing. I thought, what's that going to do? It's a baseball manager. Here comes Rob Thompson. A lot of things changed. It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. That's all I'm saying. I'm not screaming and banging on the table for saying it has to happen. Like, I think that there's a lot of issues here. But, do I think that there's a head coach issue? I don't know if it's a head coach issue. See, my buddy from Boston texted me today, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, what are you saying about my coach now? Because before the season began, I'm making fun of the Udoka situation, and I'm looking at Boston going, look at what's happening inside your organization. And Boston looks scary. Why do they look scary? Well, it's kind of weird that you go from Udoka, who apparently was one of the best coaches in the league, which he very well can be, but you go to an unknown guy and the team looks just as lethal. Why? Well, because the players on the floor, the team, Jason Tatum, that's why. Your roster, the guys balling, that's why they're, I mean, come on. You're telling me that the new guy in Boston is just as elite as Udoka, or the players are just ridiculously good. They got a chip on their shoulder. They had the feeling of last year's pain not winning it all, and they're pushing and pushing and pushing to get back to where they want to get to and where they were last year. Maybe it's that. That's kind of how I look at it. But whatever. Dude, I'm not going to complain. There's some things here that at times I think Doc gets praised for, rightfully, and times where he gets smashed. Your team has that type of lead late. You're calling timeouts, and it looks just as awful out of the timeout than it does without timeout. I mean, that can't happen. You got to get everybody on the same page here. This team has been through a lot right now with guys injured. But the problem is they just came off of a road trip, right? They go 0-3 on the roadie. What they did so well without their top players is they played hard and they won games they probably shouldn't have undermanned. Well, when you follow that up with the double overtime debacle in Houston, it just deflates everything. It kind of washes it out.